how climate is connected to toothpaste? That's a fair question. So good news is I'm here to explain it to you. It might not make sense initially, but I hope that you walk away with a little bit more understanding about my project. First, I have to tell you, I started my career as a visual artist, and I'm going to show you a few pieces to give you some context about how this project came about. Usually, I study product packaging, corporate logos, consumer imagery, and I take a little bit of it and I try to make it abstract. So does anybody know what this A is from? Oh, you got it. What about this B? Bubblicious. Okay, good. What about this C? It is Campbell's. Good job. No one said Coca-Cola very loudly. Usually they do. So you get the gist of this. I like color. I like graphic symbols. And I like to have fun, and I like to make people think about imagery. I had a successful career in New York for 10 years as a visual artist, but I had to work as a graphic designer to support that career. So I have graphic design skills, which is good in the long run, but that lifestyle of having 2 careers to make the first career happen was really too much. And after about 5 years, I was like, I don't want to do this. I want a big change. So after 10 years, I moved back to the Pacific Northwest and got married and had this beautiful baby girl who's now 13 years old. Her name is Johnny. She's kind of faded out there. I can see she looks beautiful on the screen here. You get the idea. She's a really cute baby. And when she was 2, my dad called me. At the time he lived in Portland and said, Heidi, let's go to Earth Day. And so we got my mom to babysit, and my dad and I went to Earth Day in Portland. And I was excited. I'd never been to an Earth Day before. I thought it was gonna be like a big scene. Something like this, you know, like it was in Tomahawk Waterfront Park, Portland, beautiful day, like, you know, sparkly blue sky, white fluffy clouds, clean river. I thought there were gonna be a ton of people there. And I was wrong. It wasn't this bad. There were probably 50 to 100 people there, but in Tomahawk Waterfront Park, that's not a big crowd. And what happened to me at that moment was I had an epiphany, and I was like, oh my God, where are all the people who are supposed to be solving climate change? Where are they? This is Portland, this is Earth Day, 10 years ago. And so I became a climate activist. That's me having an epiphany. Also, it's kind of like a panic attack moment too. So at the time, I was still making visual art, not trying to make a career out of it, but I was in this body of work where I was taking product packaging that had a certain number of letters and a very familiar look. Anybody know what this product is? Yeah, okay. So, same idea, different strategy, right? And I had about 17 different sketches like this of ideas and products. And I had become a climate activist. I've been a climate activist for a couple years, but I've been trying the whole time to figure out, like, how can I use my graphic design skills, which is communications, right? My visual art skills, which is about color, product packaging, and my newfound passion as a climate activist. How can I make all that work together? And as I was working in that body of work, I came across this idea of replacing Colgate with climate, because it's the same number of letters. And I designed this, and I realized this can be a container, so it's a vessel. I never designed a product before. I'm usually like, you know, they call it appropriating, but you can also say ripping off other brands. And so I decided to crowdfund this project, Climate Toothpaste. And I crowdfunded 15,000 boxes of climate toothpaste. And so this was 2016. I still have about 7,500 of them, and they're under my ping pong table in my garage. And some of them are out there. And Climate Toothpaste is free to everybody. I encourage you to take one today. And take what goes with it, because what goes with it is even more important. I'll get to that in a moment. So here you see, these are coming off the printing press. And so, I don't know if y'all have heard this term, but there's something called art activism. And art activism is taking your art and using it for activist purposes. And that's what this is. This is an art activism project. This is an art activist object, which is a total mouthful. But it's a lot easier to say climate toothpaste. In activism, there's a verb called tabling. And tabling is standing at a table waiting for people to talk to you. And for those of us who do tabling, it can be a little bit awkward, particularly with climate, because climate is not something that people are like, oh, let's talk about climate change. Right? It's kind of dark, it's kind of scary, it's kind of huge, overwhelming, daunting, also polarizing. And so the idea with Climate Toothpaste is to start conversations about climate action using humor and levity and making people laugh. And the great thing about Climate Toothpaste, as I may be able to demonstrate for you later, is when you're standing at a table with a tower of Climate Toothpaste, people come talk to you, because it's so weird. If nothing else, they're going to come up to you and say, what are you doing there with all that toothpaste? And then you're talking to them, and you can talk to them about what you're doing, climate action, how important it is to get them involved. And I don't sell toothpaste, because I can't sell toothpaste, because it's illegal for me to sell toothpaste, because that would be what's called trademark infringement. However, I have no interest in selling toothpaste. I'm interested in doing something else with this. And I have a very powerful formula. As you'll see on one side of the box, my formula contains anti-apathy stimulant, as well as activist activator. The box is covered with science and jokes, and has two different sides. It has an uh-oh formula side, with problems associated with climate change, some of which we're all familiar with. And then the enough already side lists good things that can happen if we get our act together and actually act on climate, which remains my big project. So what goes in Climate Toothpaste boxes if there's no toothpaste involved? I get this question all the time. Well, this is the Activist Activator Letter. And the Activist Activator Letter is tailored to your home state, or in this case, since I live in Vancouver, I've been here for 13 years and I know all about the local climate and environmental scene. This is a letter specifically about Southwest Washington and all sorts of different groups that are working on climate, environmental conservation. So I've done the research for you. And on the back side is tips to reduce your carbon footprint. So whether or not you want to get involved and be a climate activist, you can still take this sheet home and be like, oh, I shouldn't be leaving my cell phone charger in the wall, because that actually sucks a lot of energy, along with another 100 different tips. So Climate Toothpaste has been used many different ways. And this has been an experiment to figure out how to use it, especially when you're 15,000 boxes, because the project wasn't over until I get rid of all the boxes. I'm not throwing them away. So Climate Toothpaste has been used on lobby days at state capitals. This is in Olympia, Washington. It's been used by children to lobby legislators, which is very compelling, because when a kid testifies about climate, you know they're going to listen. By adults. It's been used in political campaigns to support candidates who run on climate, and I'm almost always giving this away. I tried selling it. I thought, when I first did this project, oh, this will be a business. Everybody will want to buy Climate Toothpaste. That was so wrong. That was so wrong. So now I give it away. So if you're a climate and you want to run or if you're a candidate and you want to run on climate, come talk to me. If you're a teacher and you want to do something fun with the students, come talk to me, because I love talking to people about Climate Toothpaste. And the most fun I ever had is actually standing at a table doing the verb tabling. This is me at the Vancouver Peace and Justice Fair a couple years ago. Shout out to Mike and Kate Ellison, who are here today, who are the organizers of the Peace and Justice Fair. I love being in community with the Tower of Climate Toothpaste. I love it so much, I have a costume. Kids love it, adults love it, and it's so wonderful to have an epiphany, to see people have an epiphany about what the project is and just make them laugh and have fun talking about it. And it's free education. This is me talking about Climate Toothpaste, showing someone the Activist Activator letter. All of which to say, you too can use your creativity to solve problems.